there are more than two base classes are there and a child class is deriving from that, right? So we have discussed the example that father is the one base class and mother is the another base class. From that, the child class inherits the properties as well as its own properties are there for that child class. So child class is accessing the properties from father as well as from mother, and we have discussed the example with related as well as we have seen how the syntax of the multiple inheritance is there. That means whenever a derived class name is given, then colon along with the access specifier or visibility mode, we need to know the base class names. So it is more than one base class. So for syntax, it is given base class name 1 as well as the base class name 2, and then its own data members and the member functions are there. In this example, how we can write a derived class, class child colon public father, as it's one of the base class, and another giving comma, then again the access specifier that is public and the another name of the base class. So here it is separated by the comma. As many as base class you can add here. Right now for this example we have only two base classes, that is father base class and the mother base class. Okay, after that opening brace and all the declaration for the data members of the child class and the member functions. So it is like you are inheriting the properties of from father class and mother class. So you can form the example of that also by giving its own characteristic of the child class. And we have discussed the example. That example is appear in multi-level inheritance. Similarly, we have discussed in the multiple inheritance. So the class student is having its own characteristic. Then class employee is again having its own characteristics. Then third class is class manager, which it is inheriting the properties of two base classes, that is employee and the student. Similarly, the class scientist, it is also inheriting the properties of employee and the student base class. Okay, then the class laborer is there. It is inheriting as it is the properties of employee class. Okay, so this is a type of program which we have to write for the multiple inheritance. It is a combination. Okay, so we can write this by using the our class, that is a student class. Student class is having the educational background, that is the variables like school and the degree. This is the character variable, so we have declared the here parenthesis for giving the number of characters, length is there. Okay, similarly we have discussed that the we want to write to enter the these things through the get edu method. So we have entered this. Similarly put data, this means this is for displaying purpose. Okay, so same way we are writing the employee class, then we are writing the class manager. Okay, so class manager we are having the base classes employee in private, that means how we are accessing privately, we are accessing the employee class, and then the privately we are accessing the student class, right, for the our derived class manager. So one more variable, one or two variables, more variables we are here declaring for the manager class. That is a what is the title, so that is a vice president or etc, you can type for that title. Okay, so next is double dues, so this is for the gold club dues, you can take any other variable instead of this. Then its own method is void get data. Now void get data is one more time we have used this. Where we have used this is used in employee class. Base class of this is the employee class. So in employee class again there is a get data function. Okay, so for that, if you derive a manager class from this class employee, ultimately the object of this class will execute the function of the manager class. Okay, using the get data function, but we want to execute the get data function of employee as well. So we need to write here employee, then scope resolution operator, then get data function call of the employee base class. Okay, similarly now we have to see out or enter the title and golf club variable here. So we are inputting this. Okay. So we are inputting by the cin statement title and cin dues. Okay. These two variables we are inputting for the class manager itself. Then another base class, that is the student base class, is there. So we are again accessing the get edu method of this base class student. So likewise, we complete our get data. This is the get data of the derived class manager. Similarly, there is a put data function which will now access again with the scope resolution operator, because multiple base classes are there, right? So we have to use the scope resolution operator over here to mention that this is the class from which put data function is used. So for further, we are going to use first the employee put data here, and then we have the statement cout for title showing, and then the golf club showing. So this is what the statement to show out the output. Then similarly for the student, we have the student and then scope resolution operator put edu. So this name of the method you are calling over here for the display of the student record. Okay, so this is what completed with our class manager, which is a derived class from two base classes, employee and student base class. Okay, so whatever the things that we have discussed or we have included in employee or student class, that we can inherit through manager class. Through manager class. Similarly, we have written one more example for the scientist. Now this is also a class scientist, which has the discussion earlier also, that this is a particular derived class which is derived from the employee and the student class. So already whatever the employee class is having and the student class is having, this class inherits, plus its own variable is can we have to access. So its own variable is int perps, that is the number of publications. So next is the method which we can access. Now void get data is the again same name as we have in the employee base class, void get data. So if we call the object of the scientist class, then it will again override the base class. So we have to again write the scope resolution operator and the name of the base class and the method to be access. So we want to access the get data of the employee base class. So write down that is the first statement. So it will ask you to see out the enter the employee ID and enter the employee's salary. So this will be see out here, see out and see in. Okay, see in why we require to store the whatever value inside that particular variable. Then similarly we want to enter the number of publication. This is again see in. So variable name is pubs. Okay, this is the variable name pubs. The number of publication you want to enter here. After that, as you have the more base class student is there, so you want to execute that get edu also. So write down then student scope resolution operator and the edu get edu method from the which class? Student class. Okay, so now this get data is completed because we are just inputting all the values from the employee as well as its own scientist class and the student base class. Once it is done, we can write the put data for the same employee scope resolution put data for the scientist class and its own variable, that is the number of publication. Then you are displaying that perps. Then student scope resolution operator put edu, that you are calling from the student class. Okay, so this employee and student are the base classes for this, and the number of publication is its own variable. It's its own variable of scientist class, that is a derived class. And for the next class, class laborer, we are just directly inherit the employee class. So whatever the variable of the employee class, only that will be accessed, because class laborer is not having any definition or declaration of the method. So only laborer class directly access the employee base class. Okay. So this is what we have the example, but for the further execution, you require to create the object of the derived class. So manager is the derived class, scientist is the derived class, laborer is the derived class. So we need to declare the object of this derived classes. So we declared the manager M1, declared the scientist S1, S2, then laborer L1. Similarly, enter the data for manager. So it will M1 dot get data will enter out this all the things for the manager class, that is through object M1. Similarly for scientist, S1 dot get data. Similarly for laborer, L1 dot get data. Once it is done, you want to display out, because right now you have entered this and entering into the memory location you have done this. But if you want to retrieve that values or to display out that values, you need to then again write the put data function. So similarly for that, you have to again use the object of the derived class. So m1 dot put data, it will call out the manager class object put data. And similarly next it will be the for scientist s1 dot put data, and then the data on laborer you want to display, then l1 dot put data. So all the things that will be displayed out through the object of the respective derived classes. So in this case, our derived classes are manager, scientist, and the laborer. Okay, and the base classes are employee and student. Either you are accessing from the employee class or from the student class. But if you want to show the multiple inheritance, that means the employee class as well as the student class remains the base class for the manager class and the scientist class. Okay, so then this will be the output which it will ask for one by one for the derived class get data, as well as it will show the put data details through the display function. Okay. So ambiguity is what in this, why this ambiguity is there in multiple inheritance? What is the ambiguity in multiple inheritance? Suppose we have a class A and it has a method name ABC. Similarly, we have a class B. It has a method name again ABC. Now class A and class B, these two classes wants, okay, these two classes are the base classes for the third class, that is the derived class C, which will access base classes A and base class B. This is an example of multiple inheritance. Now what happens whenever a object is declared of the class C, which is a derived class, inherited the properties of the A class and B class. So the compiler gets confused when it is accessing the method ABC. When it is accessing the method ABC. Now ABC method is written in the base class A as well as it is written in the base class B. Now the child, that is a class C, it is accessing ABC. Okay, ABC is not written in the class C. ABC is not written, it is just accessing it from its both base classes. Okay, so now the compiler, when it executes this statement object.abc method, it gets confused to get or access which class ABC method, whether to go for the class A or whether to go for the class B. Okay, so this ambiguity is there and compiler will get error. Okay, so it has executed errors. To sort out this thing, compiler need to explicitly tell so which class, which base class ABC method has to access. So you have to tell it by a statement with the help of the scope resolution operator which ABC method you want to access. So whenever you are having the same method call, you need to clarify it with the help of scope resolution operator. So then write down which base class A or base class B, and then followed with the scope resolution operator and the name of the method. So here you are going to use the base class name, then the scope resolution operator and the name of the method. Similarly for another base class, you can easily tell the compiler that this is the ABC function or this is the ABC method which I want to access from this particular base class. So now the compiler will not get confused and it will execute the particular base class method only. Okay. So this is the one of the way to remove the ambiguity. in the multiple inheritance. So this has to be removed. Okay, this has to be removed. Then next is the now, have you understood this ambiguity? Okay, so ambiguity is removed from the multiple inheritance with the help of the scope resolution operator. So you have to use the scope resolution operator for accessing that particular method from that particular base class. Okay, so